Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to troubleshoot a Linux server that is running slow. Most engineers get this wrong because if you do not know exactly where the bottleneck is, you end up restarting services blindly instead of fixing the actual problem. Today, I will teach you the professional diagnostic workflow to pinpoint the issue in minutes. This is the ultimate guide to Linux performance troubleshooting. We are going to move from simple system checks to deep kernel level analysis. In this video, we will cover the system load lifecycle, diagnosing CPU contention, analyzing memory pressure, identifying disk bottlenecks, tracking network latency, and preventing future regressions. These are the topics we are going to cover in this video, so do not skip ahead. Watch the full video without skipping any content to understand it better. Before we get into the topic, a small request to you. I have already uploaded many technical videos on different technologies and tools. We share more knowledgeable content every day, so if you are interested in learning and want to improve your skills, make sure you have subscribed to our channel and joined our WhatsApp community. The join link is available in the description or scan the QR code shown on the screen. Let us get started. So what happens when a Linux server slows down? It is rarely just about too much traffic. It is usually a resource contention issue where a process is stuck waiting on a hardware queue. This could be the CPU being pegged, the RAM running out, the disk being too slow, or the network being saturated. Without a systematic approach, you are just guessing, and guessing is the worst way to run production systems. So what is system load exactly? It is a metric that represents the number of processes in a running or uninterruptible state. Think of it like a checkout line at a store. If the load is 1.0, it means one process is consuming 100% of a single CPU core. If your load is higher than your core count, you have processes queuing up and waiting for their turn, which is exactly why your server feels sluggish. The first step is checking the uptime command. This gives you a quick snapshot of the system load over the last 1, 5, and 15 minutes. If the 15-minute average is significantly lower than the 1-minute average, your system load is spiking right now. This is a critical indicator of a sudden performance degradation. Here is what the output looks like. If your system has 4 cores, a load of 8.45 is extremely high. That means your processes are waiting significantly longer than they should be. The system is clearly overloaded. Now that we know the load is high, let us find the culprit. Use the top command with the C flag to see the full command path. Once top is running, press P to sort by CPU usage. This immediately shows you which process is eating your cycles. Pressing 1 is also vital because it breaks down usage per core, which helps identify single-threaded processes that are maxing out one core while others sit idle. In this output, you can see that the PHP FPM process is using 98.5% of the CPU. This is clearly your bottleneck. It is the exact process you need to investigate further. So how do we analyze memory pressure? When a server runs out of physical RAM, it starts using swap space. Swap is just a portion of your hard drive acting as temporary storage for RAM. Because disks are thousands of times slower than RAM, your performance will drop off a cliff as soon as your server starts swapping. You must avoid this at all costs in production. Run the free command with the M flag to see memory in megabytes. Do not just look at the free column. Look at the available column. This tells you how much memory can be immediately allocated to applications without triggering swap. If this number is low, your system is under heavy memory pressure. Here, the available column shows 7,480 megabytes. This is healthy. If the swap used column was increasing, you would have a major problem that requires adding more RAM or optimizing your application's memory usage. What if CPU and RAM look okay? Then the bottleneck is often the disk. We look at a metric called I/O wait. This is the percentage of time the CPU spends waiting for disk reads or writes to complete. If this number is high, it means your application is literally sitting idle while waiting for your storage hardware to finish its tasks. This is a very common issue in database-heavy applications. Use the iostat command with the X and Z flags. Refreshing every 1 second allows you to see spikes in real time. Focus on the %util column. If this is near 100%, your disk is saturated. The await column tells you how long, in milliseconds, requests are taking. Anything over 10 milliseconds is usually a cause for concern. In this example, the device is at 95% utilization and the await time is 15.5 milliseconds. This is a clear bottleneck. The disk cannot keep up with the current request volume, which is why the server feels slow. So how do we track network issues? Network bottlenecks often manifest as connection errors or timeouts. Sometimes the issue is not the bandwidth, but rather socket exhaustion. This happens when the server runs out of available ports to open new connections. If your server is handling thousands of concurrent connections, this is a very common failure mode. Use the ss command with the s flag to get a summary of your socket usage. Look for the number of active established connections. If you have thousands of connections in a wait state, your application is likely failing to close them properly, which consumes resources and blocks new traffic. Here you can see 900 established connections and 200 in the time wait state. If the time wait number grows indefinitely, you need to tune your TCP stack kernel parameters to recycle these ports faster. Let me give you a real-world scenario. An online logistics tracking platform serving 5 million requests per day saw their dashboard latency jump from 200 milliseconds to 5 seconds. Diagnostics showed high utilization on their primary database volume using the iostat tool. They realized their disk was simply not fast enough for the new traffic volume. Switching to provisioned SSD storage reduced their latency back down to 150 milliseconds. What are the most common mistakes? First, restarting services without checking logs. You might fix the symptom, but you lose the evidence of the root cause. Second, ignoring the difference between free and available RAM. Linux uses cache aggressively. A low free number is normal, but low available is not. Third, assuming high CPU always means a bad application. Sometimes the CPU is just waiting for the disk, and the disk is the real culprit, not the code. When should you use these tools? Use stop for general process monitoring, when you need to know what is running. Use free for memory capacity planning before you decide to upgrade your RAM. Use iostat for storage throughput analysis if your database or file operations are slow. Finally, use SS for network socket troubleshooting when your API or web server is failing to handle new incoming requests. You now know the core diagnostic workflow. Always check load averages first to see if the system is overloaded. Learn to distinguish between CPU-bound and I/O-bound processes using the top command. Remember that available memory is the real metric for RAM pressure. Use iostat to verify disk utilization levels before blaming your code. And always check socket states if you see connection timeouts on your web services. I believe this video will definitely be a useful video. If you like the video, please do like and hype the video. Also share it with your friends and groups. It may be useful to somebody else. If you have any doubts or any requests, please let me know in the comments. Make sure you have subscribed to stay updated for our regular videos. Join our WhatsApp community using the link in the description because we share more knowledgeable content every day. Thank you for watching. See you soon in the next video.